Hey, I'm Larry Oberheu with FreshMouth Club. We do an advanced oral healthcare system. We're non-fluoride, non-toxic, which most of your toothpaste have toxicity in it and do a lot of harm to our bodies. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, we do a nanosilver. Nanosilver is revolutionizing the dental field because of the amazing things it does. It actually heals enamel, gum tissue, all kinds of things. We're not a problematic toothpaste, but we heal almost everything in your mouth.
You're watching Success, Motivation, and Inspiration, where we share interviews with incredible leaders who are crushing it in life and business.
We're on today with Larry Oberheu of FreshMouth Club. Really glad to be tuning in here. You've got an incredible product or incredible line of products. I'm excited to kind of get some information about that. There's some cutting edge technology that you're using that I haven't typically heard of as far as dental care goes. What's the main problem FreshMouth solves?
Well, the big one is fluoride. So, we're non-fluoride. Fluoride is completely heinous. I mean, it is, and we get a lot of pushback on it. Of course, we've been bred and grown up since we were little that, hey, fluoride's great for us. And that's what our dentist told us. And, hey, dentists are smart people. They know what they're talking about. And that's just what we need to do. So we're real good at taking orders and following, direction that we give from people that we found that think have authority. But the thing is that, they've been lied to too. So I don't think dentists are bad. I think they've been misinformed. And unfortunately, a lot of them are pretty egotistical and they're not actually willing to kind of get outside the box. But, we can just talk about the facts here. Fluoride, what is fluoride? So, a lot of people think it's a mineral. It comes from the ground. I'm actually shocked, actually. I talk to a lot of dentists that don't really like me too much. They'll get upset and get in my face and stuff, when I do shows across the country. And they're like, hey, fluoride's a natural product. It's a mineral. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a man-made product. It's toxic waste. It's literally what it is. And they're like, no, that's not what it is. And I'm like, well, have you heard of the periodic table? Do you see fluoride on there? Because it's not, and it's just shocking how little they actually do know. And there's so much statistics out there nowadays. I mean, the facts is fluoride is toxic waste. It's hydrofluoric acid. That's its true name. And it comes from the manufacturing of phosphate fertilizers. So in aluminum factories, when they make phosphate fertilizers and aluminum, the waste byproduct is fluoride. So it is toxic waste. The EPA labels fluoride as hazardous waste material. And that is what it is. It's actually one of the most deadliest substances on earth. So that's less than a gram. So that's a little tiny bit will kill a full-size human being. A
Wow.
lot less than that for a child. And actually, believe it or not, children have died from toothpaste, not, from swallowing toothpaste. That is a real thing. And a lot of them have gotten pretty sick from it. That's why children should never, ever use fluoride toothpaste. But I would say nobody should. So, we started fluorinating the water back in the 1940s. And, it was supposed to reduce, tooth decay and help with cavities, dental caries and stuff. And it's really simple. I mean, we just look at a chart and we say, well, what has happened since 1940? Well, dental cavities have sharply increased, and fluorosis, which is caused by fluoride, which is tooth decay, has drastically jumped. So, you present this and you say, well, here, how do you argue that? And they'll just say, well, that's because our diets have changed. But you know what? We had sugar back in the feast too, buddy. You know what I mean? So that hasn't changed too much. Yes, I mean, our diet does impact that a little bit, but, it is the fluoride. So the number one cause of tooth decay in America is fluorosis. That's literally caused by fluoride. You can't argue with that. That's a stat. And so when you kind of start there, you kind of look back and you say, well, wow, what do we put it in there for? It's a good question. I mean, we base everything off of, one study that was done in 1940 by Dr. Hodges. And he said that, this stuff was great for us. It was going to increase our tooth health and all this other stuff. And it's been debunked probably 50 to 60 times, but we keep putting it in, we keep, that we do nothing to stop that. And now we got, like RFK out there saying he wants to remove it from the water. And of course, we get people losing their minds over that. Like, oh my God, our teeth are going to fall out. Our teeth don't fall out if we don't have fluoride. There's another, people don't realize too, is there's not everyone fluorinates in the world. So it's real easy to get data from other places. 33 countries in the entire world fluorinate their water. The United States is the pusher of that. We push everybody to try to fluorinate them. Actually, on an ongoing basis, we send letters every year to other countries trying to get them to buy our fluoride. And the majority don't, and guess what?
Yeah.
They do not have bad teeth. So we try to depict that and say, oh, Austin Powers, remember that? He had those bad teeth and stuff. Oh, yeah, all those Europeans got bad teeth. No, they don't. I mean, some do. I mean, some Americans have bad teeth. It's you're going to have, we're going to have it both ways. And for the most part, they have good teeth and they don't fluorinate. So go ahead.
And not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, I mean, a lot of our audience is on the same path as far as they're biohacking. They're doing things to try to make their health better, trying to maximize their lifespan. But reading over the years, you probably know I owned a cosmetic medical laser franchise and a company that manufactured bioidentical injectable research peptides, a pharmaceutical company, basically.
Right.
But one of the things with that is fluoride also. I would tell you, if I'm a government official that wanted to control the population, I want a weak, dumb, easy to manipulate population.
That's right.
And dumb makes you more complacent, makes you less susceptible to confrontation.
And it makes you dumber.
Makes you weak and also.
Be a fact. I mean, it lowers IQ by as much as 20%. That's a fact. They just did a recent study in 2019, one of the most extensive studies ever done on fluoride and IQ, especially in children. So from adolescence, all the way, or, from birth to adolescence, I should say, regular getting doses of fluoride like we do in the water, it's in our toothpaste and everything, it lowers IQ by as much as 20%. That's a study, one of the most extensive studies ever done on that in 2019. That's fact. So it does. It's a neurotoxin. It does affect our brain. It does make us dumber. It makes you docile, less and open to suggestion. So Adolf Hitler fluorinated the water in the concentration camps. So, and that's why Germany can't fluorinate their water. And I've got some of the letters from the heads of the countries, trying for us, we send letters, hey, to fluorinate, they send letters back. Germany is actually, it's kind of funny. They say right in there, we can't because it's part of the Nuremberg trial or the Nuremberg code that they're not allowed to put it in the water because Hitler did it. So that was one of the things that were kind of wiped out. But yeah, and China, everybody gives China a bad name. They started fluorinating in 1970. They had to stop by the 80s because their population's teeth were falling apart. China stops. United States, no, we got this. We doubled down on it. So, the truth of the matter is if you really dig down deep enough into the rabbit hole, and there's a lot of rabbit holes on that, but it really is a military industrial complex product. That's what it is. And it's actually difficult to find that, but that's literally what everything is all about. The reason the fluoride is in the water is because they hired Dr. Hodges and Edward Bernays, who was a propaganda specialist, and they told him they needed to find something positive from fluoride. Because fluoride, one of the little known facts, fluoride enriches uranium in an atomic bomb. So without fluoride, bombs don't blow up. The military, government, hey, they can't have that. We gotta win the arms race. We gotta make lots of them. Now, a lot of the countries kind of dropped out because they were, like I said, causing cancer and all kinds of stuff. We doubled down, put it in the water. That's kind of the I guess like kind of the what prohibits any kind of lawsuits coming out. So there's been tons of lawsuits on fluoride throughout the years, but the judges and everything in the courts, they throw it out there and say, it's in our water. It's been proven safe. But the thing is that
I
it's
brushed
not
my teeth with this morning, huh?
Yeah, right. But it's not proven safe. All those records were doctored, and that's been actually found out, and that's been exposed completely. But buried, you're not going to find that on the news. But yeah, it has been debunked multiple times. This stuff is toxic. Dr. Hodges actually killed his own wife. If you read about him, it's sickening. This guy killed so many animals and trying to find a level of fluoride that wouldn't kill you immediately. And he tested it on his wife. She died. But
she was probably very easy to deal with, though, until she did.
Right. Open a suggestion. Hey, babe, we're going to. So, yeah, I mean, but he, the safe legal limit for fluoride is 0.07 parts per million. And that dose won't kill you right away, but it does not purge from our body. So our bones and our teeth have to absorb the fluoride. because it is so toxic that it damages our soft tissue in our body and it'll destroy it. Um, Actually, one of the leading causes of kidney disorder now they're finding out is fluoride. Fluoride destroys the kidneys, very toxic to them. But our bones absorb this, and so does our teeth, so that our soft tissues don't have to endure it. And that causes teeth fluorosis, which is tooth decay. Again, number one cause of tooth decay in America is that, and also bone fluorosis. So that's a real interesting one. So bone fluorosis is actually another name for that is arthritis, osteopenia, osteoarthritis. So joint pain, which we're just told, hey, old age, right? You know, as you get older, you get that. No, you don't. We've been poisoned. That's why. You know, our great grandfathers and grandmothers were out there in the farms and in the fields, right, plowing with, you know, basically manual type tools, and they were doing that in their 80s and stuff. You know, they didn't have all this. We do, you know, we start getting all achy and stuff in our 40s, and they just say, hey, you know, that's just normal. So we've just been conditioned that it's normal. It's not normal. But you know, water's a big one. Obviously, water is the essence of life to us. And if we can't get good, clean water and it's all poisoned, I mean, we really got issues. And we push the fact that, you know, hey, you got to drink more water, which is true. Our bodies need water, but all we're doing is poisoning ourselves. You got to make sure it's good, clean water. And that's a big thing. I mean, getting it out of the water is difficult. The majority, 90% of bottled water has fluoride in it. You can't even get away that way. So you got to go to a reverse osmosis or you got to do distillation to be able to get good, clean water. That's all I buy. If I'm on the road, I buy distilled water. That is all I'll drink. I don't drink anything else. At home, I mean, you know, I use reverse osmosis, you know, stay away from fluoride as much as I can. We even sell on our site, we sell a reverse osmosis system that actually takes the fluoride out of water because, again, we're non-fluoride. We also hydrate it, so it's got extra hydrogen in there. So it's a hydration unit as well, and it's remineralization. So it's really like good, healthy water. But I mean, that's so difficult to find nowadays is you know, finding good, clean water that's not poison, you know, or got stuff in it. And then, you know, you just stack that on top of everything else that's happening to us. I mean, you know, we got the chemtrails now, which the chemtrails, you know, that was supposed to be like one of those tin hat guys, conspiracy theorists, you were a whack job. Now they're admitting it. Oh, yeah, we do. It's kind of funny. What do they say? Like, I seen a meme the other day. It was like, I got to go get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones came true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, but fluoride, definitely not good for us. And it does cause a lot of harms. And again, we talk about wellness and fitness, and people are trying to be better and, you know, eat better and take supplements and vitamins, but we're just poisoning ourselves with fluoride and brushing our teeth with this stuff, which does horrendous things to us. And you got to realize that our mouth is like the epicenter of wellness. So if we're not healthy in our mouth, you're not healthy. You know, if you don't have problems in your body somewhere, you're going to, because our
Well, it's
mouth
connected directly to your gut biome. I mean, that's how you process and bring stuff into your gut. So that makes a lot of sense.
right.
Now,
Our mouth biome feeds our gut biome. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Now, what was the turning point that made you leave sick care and build FreshMouth Club?
Well, it's kind of you know, I mean, I worked in insurance and healthcare for about 30 years. So, I mean, I was pretty deep into it. Ran one of the largest health insurance agencies in the country. At about 4,000 agents. We did a huge amount of business. Obamacare completely destroyed my agency overnight almost. So, you know, I mean, but luckily a little beforehand, and we were big enough that we could actually create products, and we'd go to the insurance companies and they would actually modify programs for us. So you could only buy them through the agency that we work with. So that's kind of, we were pretty unique in the market. So we were able to go to them and say, hey, I need to build we went into dental. So we built a dental product, which we still operate. And we got real heavy into dental. And unfortunately, since 2010, when Obamacare was introduced, and 2011 is actually when it took place. Since that point, insurance itself has been dramatically politicalized. And, I was tired. I mean, I've done really well in insurance. I actually loved it. But, when I wasn't impacting my bottom line and I couldn't make money, I really said, I need to do something different, outside of the insurance, because I was just getting beat up every other time I turned around. So we decided that we would go in, since we were doing dental insurance, and then we also did administrative work for some dental insurance companies, that I thought, well, why don't we make a product for dental in something that would actually truly be preventative in nature? So something that would help orally, prevent cavities, things like that. And initially, I mean, this was in early 2019 when we started kind of developing this product, and I was all in on fluoride. So here I am researching fluoride and what the best toothpaste was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't set out to make toothpaste. That was definitely not my goal. I just wanted to not recreate the wheel, but just find the best of the best, package that together and use it and then to sell that. So we had something that was really proven that like, hey, this really helps. So we really kind of researched what the best toothpaste was. And again, fluoride was top of the list. Well, then when we went down that rabbit hole, that's when we found out. I was like, holy cow, this cannot be right. So I immediately threw all my toothpaste away, changed it for my family.
Me
And
too.
then we kind of skipped right over and said, let's do all natural toothpaste then. So I looked at companies like Tom's and some of the other ones, really dug into that and actually found that all natural toothpaste isn't good for us either. So that was actually shocking. Maybe shouldn't become such a big shock in today's day and age because everything's kind of backwards. So yeah, they're not good for us. Actually, statistically, you get more cavities with an all natural toothpaste than you would with fluoride. And now your dentist will say because fluoride's so superior, it's great. That is not true. It just means that we're doing a very bad job on the other side of making products that do help us orally. And the big thing is fluoride does kill the bacteria that causes tooth decay and gingivitis and stuff. So it does purge our mouth of some of that bad stuff. Now, I'm not advocating for fluoride because it'll literally kill you as well. I mean, it's toxic. We probably shouldn't use toxic waste or poison in our body to kill bacteria, but that's kind of where we're at. And the all natural stuff just doesn't do it. So, I mean, that causes problems. We do have things in our mouth. Our mouth is basically the filthiest spot in our body. So we do intake a lot of bad stuff. If we're not purging it, you're going to have issues. And especially some people are more prone to issues just in their makeup, their DNA and chromosomes and stuff like that. So some people are even worse off. But fluoride actually perpetuates a lot of bad issues because of the destruction of all of our biome, our good and our bad. It actually allows the bad bacteria to kind of take a little bit of a step above because weeds grow faster than the plants, right?
Coming from the pharmaceutical background where it had the clinic, if you solve a health problem, that profit center goes away. But if you could, like on the toothpaste stuff, if they can make that to where you're getting more cavities, getting more mouth, more mouth problems, having your breath stink more frequently,
more problems.
You'd be brushing your teeth more often. One of our kids' toothpaste bottles that we looked at after me and my wife started dating, and one of the main ingredients, one of the top ingredients was sugar. And it was an all natural, one of these real healthy, but one of the very top ingredients was pure cane sugar. So it sounds real nice, but still a kid's brushing his teeth before bed with cane sugar.
Right, with sugar. Not so good, right?
Yeah.
But
Had me giggling about that quality of the all natural toothpaste where, okay, we're spending $9 a tube for this junk that is giving him cavities.
Right. And you're 100% right. So all the products on the market really perpetuate problems. I mean, you talk about bad breath, halitosis and stuff. A lot of people struggle with that. What do? They turn to mouthwash, which has got alcohol in it and fluoride, both of which are really bad for our oral biome. It destroys everything. And again, it actually helps that bad stuff just get a bigger and a bigger and a bigger foothold. And then you're addicted. You can't get rid of it. You got to keep using it. And your bad breath just gets worse and worse. That's a real issue. The real issue is we need to destroy the bad stuff and not kill the good stuff, or actually help promote a healthier mouth biome. So all natural toothpaste doesn't do it. So I was actually really shocked. So that's why, I was like, well, I don't want to do natural toothpaste now and I don't want to do fluoride. So what do I do? So that's what kind of set it down the path and, creating our own line.
That brings me to my next question about FreshMouth was you guys use nanosilver. How does that target versus wrecking the oral biome? Or basically explain what nanosilver is and how that helps versus the other options.
Right. Yeah. So you got, there's colloidal silver. A lot of people are real familiar with that. Nanosilver, maybe not as much so. It's more of a newer product, but nanosilver is actually a superior silver. It's the same thing. Both are silver, but nano is just better. It is a smaller particle. It absorbs faster and it does pass digestion where colloidal silvers do not. Colloidal silvers are mostly made up of ions. I'll back up a little bit. Silver itself is one of the strongest killers of bacteria known to man. So it destroys bacteria, germs, viruses, and fungi fungus on contact. There's not an antibiotic made today that can hold a candle to what silver can do, and that's fact. As a matter of fact, silver doesn't destroy our good biome or our good bacteria. It only kills the bad. So you even get a level up on that. It destroys all this bacteria, but it does not kill our natural or our body's natural bacteria, which is huge. I really don't know of another product that does that. So destroying the bad, not the good, actually gives us a very healthy mouth biome that's second to nothing on the market, because I don't know anything that does that. But that in itself creates a very pH balanced mouth, saliva, which a lot of people are acidic, and acidic causes cavities and all kinds of problems, tooth decay and stuff. So this changes the whole oral biome to a very healthy mouth biome. It helps perpetuate good bacteria instead of bad, which in itself is amazing. And that in itself will heal a lot of things. So, I mean, we're pretty amazing creatures. We really are. And I think we're finding this out a little bit more and more as we move forward, but we can heal ourselves of almost everything given the right circumstances. Silver helps create that environment and that circumstance. It really does. But silver also heals. So it heals and it regenerates. The only area in the medical field that we use silver today is in wound care and burn victims. So nothing heals as fast as silver. So you have severe wounds, you put silver on it, it heals right away. Especially diabetics and stuff. A lot of diabetics getting ulcers and stuff. Silver is the only thing that heals that stuff really, really fast. And on burn victims, they use silver nitrate. That silver, it actually regrows the skin. So it has regenerative properties, healing properties. And actually, silver's a mineral. A lot of people don't realize that. So it's a noble metal. A lot of people say, oh, it's a metal, it's bad. You can't have metal in your body. For the most part, that is true. We don't want heavy metals in our body like aluminum and lead and mercury, which that's what we get pumped into us. As a matter of fact, about 80% of toothpaste have aluminum in them, which there's absolutely no good reason for that to be there. But anyway, so these metals definitely are bad. Yes, exactly. And they definitely cause problems. Silver's a noble metal. A noble metal is a mineral that belongs in our body. So like gold, platinum, palladium, copper, and silver, these are minerals that our bodies need. We're supposed to have them, and we're very deficient, by the way, in about every mineral. And that's almost by design too. All of our food has been like modified, and all the minerals have been like kind of out of them. I think I read that a tomato today has like 70% less minerals than it did 20 years ago. That's intentional. I mean, so our soils are ruined. All these pesticides and everything, we're ingesting all this poison. We're pretty amazing creatures that we live as long as we do with as much poisoning that we're getting. That's for sure. The mineralization of the silver, since it's a mineral that belongs in our body's just, it plays nice with everything in it. So it does not attack our good bacteria and things like that. Our cells are actually healed with the silver. It doesn't cause any adverse action, which is, like I said, very, very unique. Didn't even know that when we first put it in there. We put it in for an antibacterial aspect of it just to be able to kill the bad stuff. But I didn't realize all the healing that was going to come with it. And then we realized that there's actual studies out there. So nanosilver was what we use, is actually clinically proven to heal enamel. Nothing else has ever been able to do that.
I was just going to ask you about that, but about not only regenerating skin tissue, but also healing enamel. Now, if we talk about safety proof points, now you're talking about testing stability and why agarria isn't a risk here.
Yeah. So agarria is when you turn blue, that's the blue man. There's a really famous guy, Paul Watkins, I think, and he completely turned. He was purple. Papa Smurf is what they called him. He went on Oprah and everything. I mean, really turned purple. But he's an interesting story if you look really into it. Everybody can't see past the purple, that he's blue. But if you really look into the whole story, so the whole story is the guy who had terminal cancer. He was given 4 months to live. That's him. 4 months to live. So he went on talk shows and everything and telling everybody how he cured himself of cancer. And guess who paid for him to go around to the talk shows? The pharmaceutical companies. Why?
Because he was blue.
Told his story. I cured myself of cancer. Everybody didn't hear that. They just said, you're blue. The guy's blue. And that's permanent, man. That doesn't go away. So he did cure himself of cancer with the silver, which is pretty amazing. That should have been a story all by itself. Yes, he did turn blue because Okay, so he used it completely improperly. Number one, he made his silver himself. Not
Ridiculous
a great
dosages.
idea. A lot of people do it. And for the most part, you're not going to hurt yourself if you make it yourself and you use it as directed. Teaspoon under the tongue, let it absorb sublingually for, about a minute or so. If you swallow that, it's really not a big deal, but you're not supposed to swallow colloidal silver. And the, little bits of it is not a big deal. When you start ingesting large amounts, now this guy was drinking gallons of
Yeah.
colloidal, so drinking it. Now, again, not supposed to drink it. And the dosage was way out of the chart, off the charts. And they bathed in it as well. So he was just putting this all over his body. So when you make it yourself, there's a lot of contaminants. You got deposits, iron deposits, calcium, and all this other stuff. And you got salts in there and stuff. So that in itself is not great. And when you ingest a lot of it, when you make colloidal silver, it's very simple to do. It's silver rods, 9-volt battery, distilled water. You're making your own silver. The longer you leave it in there, the higher the concentration. And again, as human beings, we think if a little's good, a lot must be really fantastic. So not always the case. Water, you can't live without it, but you would dedefinitely drown in it. So, so too much.
A glass of wine is a good antioxidant, but not real great if you drink a gallon of it.
What happens when you make silver that way is you get mostly positively charged ions. You're getting very little particulate or particles. You're getting about a 2 to 5% of a particulate or particle versus ionization. So the ions actually have the same properties of the silver. So they do kill bacteria and stuff. It's the same. A lot of people think colloidal is better because it's not metal. It's actually an ion. They really don't get it. I mean, the particles are what we actually want. But anyway, the ion will kill bacteria as well, but it only kills once. So it's like, basically, I like to compare it to a honeybee. It can only sting you one time. Only got one stinger and it dies if it releases it. So that's the same thing as the silver ion. It will kill bacteria, germs, fungus on a contact, but then it kind of dissipates with it. So it's very reactive. When you get a positively charged ion, they're reactive with hot, cold, different acidity levels like hydrochloric acid, which is in our stomach. When a silver ion reacts with hydrochloric acid, it turns to silver chloride in our stomach. That turns you blue. That's the reaction right there. So again, not supposed to drink it, small amounts of it only. If you're ingesting large amounts, you can definitely have some of those issues. Nano silver is different because there's no ions. So actually the ionization is actually filtered out. They don't want ions at all. It's a pure particle and it's a lot smaller. It's a billionth of the size of a human hair. It's molecular in nature. So it's cellular level small. It actually penetrates our cells. Which silver has been penetrating cells, by the way, for, I'm not going to say millions, thousands of years. So silver can be dated all the way back to ancient Egypt, used medicinally. And actually, we did too. Prior to 1936, that's all we used was silver for antibiotics. You went to the doctor, they literally prescribed colloidal silver. When the drug manufacturers came in, the Rockefeller Foundation and Western medicine, petroleum-based, they went to all synthetics, chemical versions of it so they could patent it. One of the first things they threw out was silver. And they hate silver. Like really hate it. Like they tried to remove it from the market multiple times. The FDA did as well. But they can't because it was actually listed as a medicine prior to 36. So they can't, but they've reduced it all the way down to a supplement. Can't make medical claims on it. Even during, the COVID, thing, you had a lot of doctors that were coming out saying stuff about silver. Those people lost their license. Those people were saying,
I was just going to say, you lose your license for
vitamin C, take vitamin D, take silver. And they're like, oh no, you can't do that. They actually got a pretty good setup. A doctor can't actually prescribe a natural product. They can only prescribe prescription grade RX and synthetic stuff. They're not allowed to, and they can lose their license from it, which some of them did for actually promoting other cures for that. Incidentally, the word cure and heal, we don't even use those anymore. I mean, those have been stricken from the Hippocratical oath as doctors. We used to say that, cause no harm, heal and cure. All of that's been removed. We don't even do no harm is not part of it anymore. So you think about that for a second. Do no harm is no longer part of that oath. And we don't heal and we don't cure anybody. So I'm not sure what they do.
For somebody switching over using FreshMouth, ordering from FreshMouth Club, what changes can users notice in the week 1, week 4, week 12?
Well, first off, I mean, right out of the gate, you'll find that you definitely get a fresher and cleaner feel than any other toothpaste on the market. And that's kind of our tagline: always fresh, always clean. And it really does. You definitely notice a difference, and it lasts a lot longer. So you got a lot fresher breath, a lot longer. Incidentally, we talked about bad breath before and taking alcohols and mouthwashes and stuff. A bad breath is caused by bacteria causes odors in our mouth. So bad bacteria, you get bad odors. So again, silver kills all bad bacteria, germs, viruses, and fungus on contact. So it eliminates bad breath completely, and it lasts for about 6 to 8 hours. So even if you go to bed at night, you brush your teeth before you go to bed, you really don't wake up with morning breath. You're still pretty fresh. And those are the type of things that you can notice pretty quick. As far as healing, we're really not a problematic toothpaste. We don't like Sensodyne or Pro Enamel Periodontics for gums and stuff, but we're an everyday toothpaste that's to be used every day, but we heal almost everything in the mouth. I mean, so we've actually got people that have cavities heal over in about 4 to 6 weeks. So it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for enamel actually to heal over. And we've got lots of testimonials of that. It also takes away teeth sensitivity in about the same amount of time. So a lot of people use Sensodyne, they got sensitive teeth. That's a microfiller toothpaste. It's got microscopic particles that go into the holes in our teeth. Our teeth are kind of like a honeycomb under a microscope. So those microscopic particles go in those little holes and takes away the sensitivity. It does work temporarily. If you stop using it, those fall out and the sensitivity comes back. So the sensitivity is caused by the thinning of the enamel, and those pores open up and get larger. Then you got the hot and cold sensitivity. Silver actually closes those holes and actually, because it thickens up the enamel, taking away the sensitivity permanently. So it's not a Band-Aid. We actually heal, the teeth. So just amazing there. And then also gum tissue regeneration in about 6 to 8 months, which are two things your dentist will just say that's not possible. But there's studies
That's
on
awesome.
it. Like I said, it's not me saying it. We actually have a lot of the clinical studies. So it's real, and they're doing a lot of research on it now.
This interview is sponsored by Newswire magazine. We celebrate the entrepreneurs and thought leaders shaping the future. Those who don't just adapt, but innovate, who inspire others to think bigger, lead boldly, and create lasting change. Only a select few are featured in Newswire magazine, and for those who earn a place on the cover, the opportunities are unmatched. Your story shared with a global audience, your achievements celebrated on national billboards, reaching millions. Every leader has a story. Every vision deserves a platform. Who will rise to the top? Stay tuned. You're witnessing greatness unfold.
Hey, welcome back to Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. We're on with Larry Oberheu of FreshMouth Club. Larry, I am loving this already. We got a kind of a similar background, and I'm learning a lot from you as well, but I'm looking forward to trying out FreshMouth Club and the toothpaste and stuff you provide. What is your 60-second oral reset routine? How's that work?
So we do have a little bit of a system involved in it. So depending on what you're using, I mean, our advanced, we'll look at like our deluxe or advanced kit or whatever we do. I mean, we do electric, we do manual, toothbrush. So depending on what you use, Sonics are like our best. Sonics are actually the best brush to use. Sonics actually are less abrasive, so they don't scrape out the top layer of enamel like Oral-B's will or some of the other toothbrushes. But Sonics are very, very innovative and help. They also can get gum line without damaging gum. Hard brushing is the number one cause of gum recession, and manual toothbrushes can do a lot of damage. So like our best, like I said, our Sonic is our best. But whether you're using our manual or electric, we do UV sanitation on everything. People don't realize how filthy our toothbrush is. Let's see, you got our UV sanitizer up there right now. So our toothbrush is literally the filthiest thing in our house. It's got more bacteria than our toilet, but we stick it in our mouth every day and we don't even think about it. They actually can make us sick on a regular basis. Sore throats, canker sores, intestinal issues are pretty common. We don't realize it, keep infecting ourselves. But they've done studies in the hospital. About 30% of heart disease patients can be traced back to the toothbrush.
Wow.
That's how toxic they are. And that's how interconnected we are. Every single tooth is connected to an organ in our body. If you look up the tooth meridian chart online, it'll show you those connections. Every single tooth is connected. To prove that, and that's been proven many, many times. But in 2019, they did a study on breast cancer for women. They took 1,000 women with breast cancer, just a random slice of 1,000 women. 90% of them, that's a really big percentage. 90% had
Yeah.
a root canal or a cavitation in the second or the third molar from the back on either side. Those are directly connected to the mammary gland. To make that
Wow.
stat even worse or higher, whatever side it was on was the side they had the breast cancer on. That's a real study. So direct correlation to cancer, heart attack, stroke, all of this can come from our mouth. People don't realize it. I mean, we really got to take care of our mouth. So we get that seeps in and it can cause havoc in whatever area it is. So we use UV sanitation. So you just show there our manual toothbrush has it. You just pop it in there. It destroys all the bacteria so that you're always using a fresh, clean toothbrush every time, which all of us should strive for. And even our electric units have, UV sanitation built into them, so that you clean your brush head every day. And we actually do recommend monthly replacement of the heads of the Sonics or a manual as well. You should really get rid of those things every single month. I know the American Dental Association says every 3 months, but actually says every 3 months or unless the toothbrush frays. You can't brush your teeth more than 3 weeks without it fraying. I guarantee you that. So those
Yeah.
frays cause microtearing in our gum tissue. It also causes the brush to brush with the sides of the brush rather than the tips, causes erosion of the enamel and stuff like that. So not good. We need to replace them every single month. And that's kind of part, we do a subscription program where we do that. Every month we send you a new kit and we'll give you, toothbrush, toothpaste, mouth rinse, floss, timer, the whole shot. In our Sonic heads, like Philips Sonic, they charge $20 for a head. So if you're replacing your heads every month, you're spending $20. That can get pricey. Our whole kit is $21.95 delivered to your door. So for what they charge for one
Wow.
head, we drop everything off for you. So because we made them affordable because we want to change them every month. That's kind of the protocol. So our kits include, like I said, the brush head and the toothpaste, toothbrush, mouth and our rinse. So the toothpaste is pretty normal. You just brush your teeth like normal with it. Of course, you want to try to do 2 minutes. That's proper brushing time. But that's normal. But after you brush with the silver actually impregnates into our skin and it lasts for about 6 to 8 hours. That's why I was saying you don't wake up with morning breath. It really keeps us fresh. And while it sits there, it doesn't allow the bad bacteria to grow back. It only allows the good stuff. So it's actually really mean and nasty to this bad stuff, really unfair playing field to the good guys for a change. So the last thing you want to do is rinse with water, kind of spit out the excess. So our rinse is exactly that. It's a rinse. It's small. A lot of people say, well, it's real tiny. Well, you only need about 4 to 5 drops in about an ounce of water. So it's a super
Okay.
concentrate. It's 100 part per million nanosilver. That's really high for nano. Xylitol and peppermint. So it's made to be diluted, 4 to 5 drops, about an inch of water. You want to rinse with that. That kind of enhances the silver rather than rinsing it away. And you can swallow. I mean, there's nothing toxic in it. If you swallow nanosilver's past digestion, again, in our gut, we talked about the gut biome, how important that is. Silver kills all the bad, not the good. So it actually helps promote a
Wow.
healthy gut as well. So, I mean, there's some additional benefits for it, but you can spit it out too. So it doesn't matter. And then we do ozone. So we have ozone generators available. That's, you don't have to buy them. But ozone, if you're using the ozone generators, we actually recommend to put the silver in the ozone and kind of rinse with that. That actually really steps up the game. Ozone, I don't know if you're familiar with, but I mean, ozone's almost as cool as silver. It's pretty amazing stuff.
In Denver, when we were running the pharmaceutical company, we had an oxygen bar and an ozone generator. Then we'd
Yeah.
run around with the flavored oxygen and have people,
Yes.
we do it at nightclubs and stuff. That's
Yeah.
been 25 years ago. But that
Mhm.
was my next question. Actually, I was going to ask you about how ozone and hydrogen, how they work with, how a beginner does that safely without,
So,
any
so
kind of
yeah,
risk
I
or
mean,
anything.
ozone, as you know, ozone's really amazing. Ozone's made from oxygen, so it's O3. So 3 oxygen molecules bound together with electricity. Ozone units, I'm sure you had one. I mean, they're $3,000 to $5,000. They're not cheap.
Yep.
They're really expensive. I do have one, but your average person is going to spend $5,000 on an ozone machine. That's just crazy. But ozone reverses tooth decay. So not stops it, literally reverses it. So biological dentists are doing what they call ozone irrigation. They'll irrigate a tooth that needs a root canal, and they're able to save the tooth about 40% of the time. With the use of
Wow.
silver, they can actually, in some cases, rebuild the tooth. Well, we already do silver. That's kind of our thing. So ozone was kind of the next step. But getting people to spend $5,000 is, yeah, that's. So we designed, our own ozone bottle. So we have an ozone bottle that is not $5,000. They're $200, $199 online, but they generate ozone water, which you can actually rinse with. We recommend to put the silver drops in the ozone if you're working with, kind of rinse with it. So it actually does an amazing job cleaning and helping prevent tooth decay and all this other stuff. But you also want to drink it. So when you drink ozone water, it permeates our blood really quick. And what it does there is it destroys bacteria, germs, viruses, and fungus as it flows through our blood. But then see, ozone, one of the I guess one of the bad news about ozone, as far as from an industrial cleaning standpoint, because it would be the best industrial cleaner ever made. And they do use it. So, dentists will use it to clean their stuff with it. But you have to generate and use it right away because it only lasts for about 30 minutes. So it
Yeah.
dissipates. So the oxygen molecules bound together are very unstable. But in their state, it's one of the most sterile substances known to man. It is 10 times more powerful than bleach, but non-toxic to our bodies. It's actually really healthy for us. So that's why I said you can drink it. It's not bleach. It's not going to hurt you. It destroys all the bad stuff. It takes out good stuff too. So, I mean, it destroys everything. It's like a napalm, but then it oxygenates. So it falls apart and it creates oxygen in our body, in our blood. That excess oxygen is amazing for us because oxygen heals our body, cells, tissues, organs, everything. Even our bones are healed with oxygen. So that excess oxygen in our body helps reduce inflammation. It, heals our cells, tissues, organs. It passes blood brain, and that excess oxygen in our brain actually lifts brain fog. It actually helps heal the brain. It increases cognitive function. They're doing testing with ozone therapy on dementia and Alzheimer because of the cognitive increase. So really, really amazing for our body. But ozone has no nutritional value. It's strictly a therapeutic. So
Yep.
I tell everybody, you don't overdo ozone. You want to do it a couple times a day. So once in the morning, once at night, you kind of rinse with it and then drink it. And then throughout the day, our bottle is the only bottle on the market that does hydrogen as well. So we have a hydrogen and an ozone bottle all in one unit. Separate functions,
Really?
not used together. So like, Gary Brecka, who is really big on hydrogen water, he's got his own.
I love Gary.
Yeah.
We had dinner up in Atlanta. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love him. Never met him personally. I was at a show once and never got to actually meet him, but he's a cool guy. So he's got a hydrogen generator bottle. It's a nice unit. But hydrogen is really amazing for our body as well. So that our bottle does hydrogen and ozone. So we have the only bottle out there that does that, and we're about half the price of some of the real Gary's unit. It's $450. So, but it's a good unit. Ours equally, it doesn't do anything that ours doesn't really, and ours does the ozone. His doesn't. But that ozone was important to us because of the oral healthcare aspect of it. But hydrogen actually is good orally as well. They're just now finding studies that hydrogen actually reduces gingivitis and periodontal and stuff. So it really helps because hydrogen, actually smallest element on the periodic table, will penetrate gum line, and it does take out some of that bacteria. So it's actually, hydrogen's really beneficial as well. The oxygen and the ozone does the same thing. It eradicates below gum. So it really does an amazing job keeping our mouth healthy and clean. So yeah, so our kind of our system is you brush, you use our rinse. If you're using the ozone, you use the rinse and the ozone together. Then you kind of drink the ozone, to
Yeah.
get it into our entire body, and that just helps with a lot of stuff in our body.
If somebody's on FreshMouth, your whole system there, are there tweaks for gum recession, implants, crowns, braces, things that they have to watch out for, or is it all the same?
We there's no difference in the product. So all the products help. We have the only product on the market that can penetrate gum line. So our toothpaste, as you brush, goes below gum line every day. So that's something that they can't really do right now. So if you have a gingivitis issue or periodontal, they cut your gums open and they scrape that out. That's a horrific surgery. Our toothpaste
My
goes
stepdad
below
just
gum.
had that done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's horrible. But our toothpaste actually cleans below gum every day. It actually helps. It will actually help alleviate it. We've helped a lot of people with gingivitis, mild cases of it, completely destroy it in a pretty short amount of time, actually. And for a more advanced cases, periodontal disease and stuff, we actually have a product for that. So Perio Swish, which is periodontal, it's more than just a periodontal disease product, but it actually helps with everything. It really keeps our oral biome really in check. but it does eradicate periodontal disease. If it gets to that stage, that's not curable in modern dentistry. They just give you antibiotics. They put you on an antibiotic regimen for the rest of your life, basically. And they just try to keep it at bay. Our product, our Perio Swish, actually eradicates it within about 3 months. It completely reverses it.
Wow.
Now, if it's an advanced stage and you got actual bone damage, it's not necessarily going to heal the bone for you, but it will stop it. It will cut it out. It will eradicate the bacteria and, help you heal and start on that journey. But, it's that is pretty amazing stuff. That's more of like it is a Perio Swish. So it's a swish that it's like an oil pulling. So we use like 7 essential oils in there. It has frankincense, clove, wormwood, white thyme, black seed oil,
Nice.
sesame, bunch of them. And then we have,
Some biblical stuff there, huh?
yeah, there's some really good stuff, and it's very powerful. So we even take away it'll fight infection in the mouth like nothing else. It takes away even an abscess. Within about 2 to 3 days, it'll take an abscess and just completely take it away. It takes away mouth pain within about 30 to 40 seconds. So you want to swish for about 2 minutes. You can actually swallow afterwards or spit. But 2 minutes, after about a minute, if you have mouth pain, even from an abscess, that will go away. And that is really serious pain. And it keeps it at bay. And then it'll attack the infection and it'll just, within about 2 to 3 days gone. I had a guy at one of the shows, his mouth was like this. He had a baseball in there. And there was a Friday, and on Monday he had an appointment to go to the dentist. We were going to lance it. I gave it to him, took his pain away immediately. He was just like thrilled. And then by Sunday, the show was over on Sunday. By Sunday, his face was normal. The swelling was almost completely gone. He had no pain. And the next day I kept in contact with him. He didn't have it lanced. So actually really, really turned that around for him. So that's pretty amazing stuff. So we got, that, and like I said, the ozone we got in 2 forms. We have an oil and we have the water form on it.
What's one claim that you refuse to make and one result that you'll stand behind with FreshMouth Club?
I mean, as far as claim that I won't make, I mean, I'm cautious to make some of the claims that we do because you can get in trouble nowadays for saying stuff. But I'm a little bit more emboldened lately because just, a lot of things are turning and, people want the truth and they're not afraid to, put it out there. And I think there is a turn happening. I mean, people are actually moving away from all the mainstream stuff and saying this stuff's not helping. I mean, for the first time ever, we have actual doctors, like accredited doctors. You look at like Peter McCullough. This guy's got a pedigree a mile long. He's turning his back on the medical field, saying, we're not helping people. We are not doing the right thing. So, and I think that that's become more and more clear is that medical is not there to help you guys. It's there to treat the symptoms and never the root cause. And that's just all it does is perpetuates the use, because there's no money in curing anybody. Like you said earlier, they cure it. Hey, no more money, right? If we could just keep you on a maintenance level and you got to constantly take a drug, well, we make a lot of money on that. So there's no cure, there's no money in cures. So they don't really want to cure people. But I mean, people are starting to realize that we really need to treat the root cause, not the symptom. And these are going back to natural medicines, back to our empirical health system where we actually did heal and cure people. And that stuff worked. And now we're, kind of, I think, kind of leaning more back to it. So I don't really hold back as much. I mean, I used to really kind of hesitate on some of the stuff on it. And I have been, kicked off of TikTok and stuff like that for, talking about silver because they don't like it, but, I refuse to be shut down. I'm kind of more emboldened by it. If you shut me down, I'll just, we'll open up new ones and just create new channels, because, we're being truthful. We don't put out misinformation. We put out facts, and we stand behind them.
I'll throw this on Facebook as well. We've got one of our Facebook groups, actually our Facebook group for the TV show has got over 450,000 active members in it. So I'll put it out there. The magazine's hundreds of thousands of readers a month between the different articles. And also you're getting featured on Amazon Fire TV right now. So hopefully a lot of people read this. And by the way, if you're watching this right now on Amazon Fire TV and you're on a newer smart TV, pause the screen, scroll down. We'll have a link in there where you can actually go directly to freshmouth.club. Check it out. See what do some more research. And I would say, I'm sure you'd say this as well. Don't just trust something because it hurt because it sounded great on a TV show.
Right.
But this is something I mean, I've got a background in medical as well, owning a cosmetic medical laser clinic, the pharmaceutical company. And this is all stuff that you're saying that is legit, verifiable, trusted information. If somebody's going to do a 30-day trial, what would they track to just judge the results of Freshmouth Club?
I mean, we welcome that. I mean, you don't, like I said, you don't have to join our subscription. I tell everybody, if you try it and you like it, I mean, you probably should do the subscription. It's just cheaper and it's free shipping. But I mean, just you can buy a tube of toothpaste or, 2 tubes. We do a 2 tube it's a little cheaper if you do it that way. And I mean, we're not ridiculous either. I mean, our toothpaste is about $10 a tube. So that's really not much more expensive than just a decent toothpaste nowadays. That's for sure. So we're not super ridiculous expensive, but you give it a try. I guarantee if you try it for 30 days, we don't really miss too much. I mean, people really notice a difference. In about 30 days, if you have some issues that you're dealing with, you'll notice some differences like sensitive teeth. We're unlike Sensodyne in a way it doesn't work immediately, but it's a more of a gradual, but by the month end, you should have zero sensitivity or substantially reduced. So usually once people get, a month of our product, we really very, very fortunate. We have a great formulation. It tastes phenomenal. I've been told the best tasting toothpaste on the planet and legit by people. So we really have a great toothpaste that tastes good, that foams up well, that it performs really well, and it does what it's supposed to, and it's non-toxic. So, we really kind of check all the boxes there.
Do you have any kind of a product as far as teeth whitening? I've looked through, but just somebody watching this right now, if they're trying to get their teeth whitened, I know there's a lot of ways you can bleach and do some dangerous stuff for your teeth, but how do you guys approach whitening?
I mean, our toothpaste does whiten because it does facilitate the regrowth of enamel. So you're getting new enamel, which is whiter. So that does happen. So it does whiten, but we do have whitening kits. Actually, we have, I guess, for whitening kits, I mean, they are bleaching. They do harm our teeth a little bit. I mean, and some of it is temporary. So it causes sensitivity and it softens the enamel. So that's your Zoom whitening that you get from the dentist. The Zoom actually accelerates the whitening and gives you about 6 shades whiter. So it does work, but you get that sensitivity and the softening of the enamel. So we have our own kits. We do the blue light as well, but we use red light therapy as well. So it's a blue and a red. So red light actually remineralizes enamel and it hardens it back up and it takes away the sensitivity completely. Yep, the red light. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, red is awesome. Red heals. So ours we have. Yeah, I mean there's some others out there, but they're not really. There's not a lot of them. So we do a red. We do a blue and a red. And we also do blue-red combination. And what that, you do the blue, get your whitening where you want the level, and then you do the red, you kind of heal it and take away the sensitivity. And then we have like a maintenance schedule. You could do this every 3 to 4 months, do blue and red together. You're not going to get a huge spike and jump in whitening, not that 6 shade, but it's a couple shades whiter. So as a maintenance, perfect because it just gives you a little bump in the whiteness without doing the damage or the harm. You don't got to worry about sensitivity at all. So it's about the healthiest whitening you can get. So we sell those and we do amazing with them. It is a really great product.
Now, if somebody's wanting to check this out, we mentioned already freshmouth.club. Is that the best place for people to go to get a price snapshot, how the subscription helps or how it works, the ingredients testing, order now?
Yeah, absolutely. Freshmouth.club. You can go right to our store. We have, quantity discounts if you just want to, you don't want a subscription, you want to buy a 12 pack. We do 12. We do pretty much everything in between as well and discount it out. Like I said, the subscription's always the cheapest and it's free shipping, in there. But it's we give you the pricing right in there. It's got you click on it to give you the subscription price versus the just the one-time order price on it. So everything's set up right in there. We got no contracts. There's no lock-in period. So if you join the subscription, there's no money to it. I mean, it's
so
really nothing.
Mail a certified letter to cancel your subscription.
Right, it's not the second Tuesday of the first week of the month when it's not raining and rainbows are out. But we don't make it hard. Actually, we make it real easy. When you sign up with us, we give you your own portal. And in that portal, the top right-hand corner is a cancel button. You literally can click that. You don't got to call us. You don't got to do nothing. Of course, we hope you don't do that, but you can also adjust it. You can do 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. We have a 6-week option now too as well. You can modify what you're getting. You can add, subtract. You can delay a shipping. You can pause it. We let you know 5 days in advance when it's coming so that you can go in and say,
nice,
too soon, too late, to whatever,
I'm out of the country. Yeah.
Or add to it or whatever. So yeah, so we make it pretty easy and we don't want you to get too much, too little. hey, you buy this stuff every day or all the time, we just drop it off for you. We're not too much,
That's
we're
awesome.
not that much more expensive than, like I said, good stuff anyway. So
What's a final thought for our viewers right now that are watching this, that maybe they're just using regular fluoride toothpaste, or maybe they're already ordering some kind of an alternative natural toothpaste that's not working great?
the silver is just second to nothing out there. It really, you'll notice really definitely a difference between your fluoride and your natural toothpastes. A lot of times you don't really feel clean. That changes right away. And again, we give you a really pleasant experience. I mean, our toothpaste literally is the best I've ever used, and I get that from a lot of our clients. So it really is. Kids too. I mean, that's another thing. A lot of kids they really don't like brushing their teeth, and actually, that's pretty shocking to me. As a kid growing up, my mom like beat me over the head with a shoe if I didn't brush my teeth. So that's embedded. Nowadays, kids are like, I don't brush my teeth. I was like, what? But
Yep.
they don't, and a lot of kids don't like it. But our toothpaste, I've got tons and tons of testimonials where parents are coming up and saying, man, my kids love your toothpaste. They like to brush their
That's
teeth
awesome.
now. And that's what you should, I mean, it should be pleasant,
Yeah.
and we definitely deliver on that.
Thanks for watching Success, Motivation, and Inspiration. This episode was designed to help you level up. See you next time.